Most of the time when we make decisions, we believe we're thinking clearly. We believe we're being rational, objective, and in control. But the truth is far stranger. Beneath the surface, our minds are constantly cutting corners, taking mental shortcuts designed for a world that no longer exists. These shortcuts helped our ancestors survive. But today, they shape our fears, our judgments, our memories, and even our beliefs, often without us noticing. In this episode, we're going to step inside those shortcuts. We'll explore why the brain jumps to conclusions, why certain ideas feel true even when they aren't, and why our instincts sometimes lead us straight into error. Not because we're foolish, but because our minds are optimized for speed, not accuracy. This is the story of heuristics, the hidden shortcuts that guide us, protect us, and occasionally mislead us. Let's begin. There is something strange about the human mind. For all our intelligence, for all our logic, for all the technological power we've built, our brains still rely on shortcuts, quick judgments, fast guesses, tiny leaps of intuition that happen long before we have time to think. Most of the time, these shortcuts help us. They save time, they save energy, they help us survive. But sometimes, they deceive us. Quietly, invisibly, predictably. These shortcuts are called heuristics, the mental habits we depend on when the world moves too quickly for slow, careful analysis. And today, we're going to explore how these shortcuts work, why they evolved, and why they sometimes lead us into illusions, false conclusions, and confident mistakes. Let's begin with a simple question. Have you ever seen a dramatic news story? A plane crash, a shark attack, a celebrity scandal, and felt like it happens more often than it actually does? Or have you ever met someone for a few seconds and immediately formed an impression of them, intelligent, untrustworthy, confident without having any real information? Or have you ever seen a 70% off sign and felt the price was good before even checking what the price used to be? These reactions are not accidents. They are the brain's shortcuts in action. To understand heuristics, we first have to understand something uncomfortable. The human brain was not designed for the modern world. It evolved in a place where life was simple but dangerous, where quick decisions mattered more than accurate ones, where reacting fast kept you alive, even if you reacted incorrectly sometimes. In the ancient world, you didn't have time to calculate exact probabilities. If you saw movement in the bushes, you ran. If berries looked similar to poisonous ones, you avoided them. If someone behaved suspiciously, you stayed away. These shortcuts were useful. They kept our ancestors alive. But today, the world is different. The dangers are different. The information is overwhelming, and the shortcuts that once saved us can now mislead us. So let's explore the most important heuristics, the mental shortcuts that shape our decisions every day. The first is the availability heuristic. This one is simple. The easier something is to recall, the more common we think it is. If an event is vivid, emotional, or dramatic, it feels frequent, even if it's incredibly rare. When a plane crashes, we remember it for years. When a car crash happens, we forget within hours. But which one is statistically more dangerous, driving by a massive margin? Yet flying feels riskier because the stories are louder. Availability heuristic quietly replaces. How often does this happen with how easily can I think of it? And the answer is rarely accurate. The second major shortcut is the representativeness heuristic. This is what happens when the brain uses patterns instead of analysis. If someone looks the part, confident, articulate, well-dressed, we assume traits about them instantly. We think someone wearing glasses is intelligent. Someone speaking confidently must know what they're talking about. Someone who looks like a leader must be one. We judge based on resemblance, not reality. The brain loves categories. It wants the world to fit into neat templates. But people rarely do. The third shortcut is anchoring. Anchoring is the strange effect, where the first number we hear shapes everything that comes after it. If a store lists a jacket as $500 now, only $109, the $109 feels cheap. even though you have no idea if $109.99 is a good price for a jacket. The first number becomes a psychological anchor, pulling your judgment toward it. Anchoring shows up everywhere: negotiations, salary expectations, price tags, even guesses about distance time and probability. The brain grabs onto the first piece of information and refuses to let go. The fourth shortcut is confirmation heuristic, the habit of favoring information that supports what we already believe. If you think left-handed people are more creative, you'll notice every left-handed artist and ignore the thousands who aren't. If you believe a certain group is rude, you'll remember every rude person in that group and forget the polite ones. Our beliefs filter our perception, not intentionally, not maliciously, just automatically. And the fifth shortcut is the affect heuristic, the tendency to let emotions make decisions for us. If we like something, we assume it's safe. If we dislike something, we assume it's risky. Fear, anger, attraction, disgust. These emotions override thinking with surprising power. A food you dislike suddenly feels bad for health. A person you admire suddenly feels trustworthy. A product you love suddenly feels worth the price. Emotions simplify complex decisions by replacing logic with feeling. Now here is the important part. Heuristics are not flaws. They are not errors. They are not bugs in the system. They are solutions. Solutions built for a different world. A world where slow thinking was a luxury your ancestors didn't have, where pausing to analyze could get you killed, where speed mattered more than accuracy. Heuristics are fast. Heuristics are efficient. Heuristics save mental energy. They reduce the cognitive load so the brain can survive. But the modern world is not the world our brains were built for. Today, information is vast. Decisions are complex. Data is everywhere. Marketing is engineered to manipulate your shortcuts. Media amplifies your fears. Social networks weaponize your emotions. The shortcuts that once saved us now expose us. This leads us to a deeper insight, a twist. The problem isn't that our brains are malfunctioning. The problem is that our environment has changed faster than evolution can keep up. The modern world overwhelms our ancient wiring. We are running 200,000-year-old software in a 21st century operating system. So what do? We don't delete heuristics, we can't. They are built into the architecture of the mind. But we can recognize them. We can slow them down. We can bring awareness where instinct used to be. Here is a simple framework to help you escape the traps of heuristics. Step 1, stop. Just pause even for a second. Heuristics thrive on speed. Slowing down breaks the automatic loop. Step 2, check. Ask yourself, am I reacting based on emotion or memory, or based on evidence? Most bad decisions come from mixing the two. Step 3, reverse. Ask, what if the opposite is true? This disrupts confirmation bias and forces the brain to consider alternatives. Step 4, reframe. Look at the situation without the story you're telling yourself. Detach the narrative from the facts. Step 5, compare. Ask, what are the actual base rates? What does the data say? This shifts thinking from instinct to reality. These steps don't eliminate heuristics, but they weaken their grip. They turn automatic reactions into deliberate thinking. They turn illusions into insights. Let's look at a few examples to make this real. Why do people fear flying more than driving availability heuristic? We recall dramatic plane crashes, but not the millions of safe flights. Why do we fall for discounts like 70% off anchoring? The first number sets the frame. Why do negative news stories spread faster than positive ones, availability and effect? Fear sticks in memory. Emotion amplifies recall. Why do we think someone confident must be correct representativeness? We judge based on resemblance, not accuracy. Why do we cling to beliefs even when evidence contradicts them? Confirmation heuristic. Our brains filter reality to protect our worldview. Understanding these shortcuts does not make you cold or robotic. It makes you wiser. It gives you the ability to recognize when your ancient instincts are helping you and when they are misleading you. Here is the deeper truth. Clear thinking is not about eliminating intuition. It is about knowing when to trust it and when to question it. Heuristics make us fast, but understanding heuristics makes us accurate. The goal is not to become a machine. The goal is to become aware. Because once you learn to see your shortcuts, you begin to see where they come from: fear, memory, habit, emotion. And once you understand them, you are no longer controlled by them. You think more clearly. You judge more fairly. You make decisions with more depth, more patience, more perspective. Mental shortcuts will always exist, but they don't have to steer your life. In the end, heuristics show us something beautiful about the human mind. We are built for speed, but we are capable of reflection. And reflection, even just a few seconds of it, is often enough to turn instinct into insight. Script ends. Heuristics are not flaws in the mind. They are features, ancient tools, designed for a simpler, faster, more dangerous world. But when we bring those tools into modern life, they can distort our thinking in ways we never intended. Understanding them doesn't make you immune to mistakes, but it makes you aware of the forces pulling at your judgment. And awareness is the first step toward clarity. Once you start noticing these shortcuts, your decisions begin to change. You pause before assuming. You question the vivid memories that try to persuade you. You check your beliefs against reality instead of emotion. And slowly thinking becomes less about reacting and more about understanding. If this episode helped you see your own mind a little more clearly, consider joining me for the next one. We explore ideas that quietly shape how we think, how we choose, and how we understand the world. Until then, remember, your brain will always use shortcuts, but you don't have to follow them blindly.